G'day folks, welcome back to another Loose Recluse production, and in today's video I'm probably out of focus, but that's okay. I've ordered a new lens that's going to autofocus with the particular cameras that I've been using. Let's get straight into it and talk about something that I seen just now on the rounds, and believe it or not, it happens to be on the rounds of X, that's right, Twitter. Now there is an article on here, check this out. This is from Bureaucrats of Australia. This is an old semi-retired bloody bureaucrat that should just retire and go to the nursing home. All these clowns think that now knives should be outlawed in Australia just because of a couple of incidences in 1 week. Does that mean all cars should be outlawed in Australia because cars have been used as weapons too, you know? Should all cars be banned? Should they? Should people just ban all cars and walk everywhere? I'm sure the government would like that if they could get tax out of each step you could make. I'm sure they would if they could. Let's have a look at it. Let's check out this ridiculous video here and listen to this old fart bureaucrat, Wayne Swan. Have a listen and check this out.
So, Wayne, should parents, do you think, be held accountable if they allow their kids to have a knife in public? This is a tricky one.
Well, I think carrying a knife it can be seen as being as lethal as carrying a gun.
Well, I think now that carrying a gun is just as lethal as carrying a knife. Or is it carrying a knife is just as lethal as carrying a gun? So you are in Australia, right? We are in Australia. So the bureaucrats have a plan, and that plan is to outlaw knives.
Well, I think carrying a knife it can be seen as being as lethal as carrying a gun. And if in fact they are the legal guardians, then I think there is an issue there. The community is not only outraged, I mean, I think the community wants a whole series of actions of which these sorts of law reforms are just part.
It's tricky, though, because how do parents know, right, if their kid does have a knife? That's the hard part about all of this.
Well, I think that could be explored. I mean, I think there could be a framework put in place. I mean, if they are the legal guardian, they do have some responsibility for the actions of the child.
And the absurdity of this rule with them trying to ban knives is that if a crazed 16-year-old wants to get a hold of a knife, a crazed 16-year-old will get a hold of a knife. How can you stop that? Just because you're putting a blanket ban and a band-aid fix on it doesn't mean the problem's going to go away. All you're doing is just creating senseless laws so the government can fine people and make stupid money. Yes, they're ripping people off. That's what the government likes to do. They make stupid rules like this, so anyone caught with a knife, they get a fine. Doesn't stop the crazies from going and getting a knife, because anybody can go get a knife from anywhere if they really want to use it. It's a band-aid fix. It's like trying to say to the teenagers, you can't smoke cigarettes because you're under 18. Do teenagers still smoke cigarettes? Yes. You can't vape because you're under 18. Do teenagers still go and do vaping? Yes. You can't drink alcohol because you're under 18. Do teenagers still go and drink alcohol? Yes. You can't do drugs because you can't do drugs at any age. Do people still go and do drugs at any age? Yes. That's right, folks. So these blanket rules are just to make the uncomfortable in society feel safe, because that's the way the government likes to prepare these things and make you feel safe in your lounge rooms, to make sure that they put a ban on knives to stop everybody from using knives. It's absolutely absurd, because if a crazy out there wants to get a hold of a knife, how do you ban all knives? And the most stupid thing about these government band-aid laws is that if a 16-year-old does decide to go and stab a bishop in a church, what happens? He's a minor. He basically gets away with it. He's a minor. They can't process him. They can't do anything with it. He's a minor. Just because it happened in Australia in the week of the Bondi stabbings, our Australian government goes nuts and thinks that they can just pull out their band-aid and chuck it over everything to make all the scared people feel safe. That's right. It could happen. It might happen. It has happened. But you just don't go and just say, oh, we're going to ban all knives. Well, maybe in Australia you do, because that's what's going on. The Australian government is fucked. And I think you all know it. That's right, the Australian government's fucked. Because like I said, what happens is when they do process a kid for carrying a knife once they have all these banned knife laws in, fuck all happens. Because they're a kid. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now, as for knives, what knives are we going to use if they ban all knives? What are we going to do? Will they outlaw the butter knife? Or just the pocket knife? The Leatherman? How about the multi-tools that lots of people use in this country? I'm sure they'll make it that you have to have scrutinized registration on those belt-clipped knives that people use out on farms and whatnot. What about fishermen? Poor old fishermen have to use their teeth? What about chefs? What should chefs use to chop a tomato? Maybe they should use their teeth too. They could make tomato sauce while they're at it. How about chopping an apple? Yes, mashed apple with your teeth. spit it back out in the bowl and make the dish at the fancy restaurants and send these bureaucrats there to have their meal. Hopefully it's someone that's just had a cold sore like I've got. And also, let's hope it's someone who has not had their COVID vaccine and they've got COVID when they're chopping up the tomato and the apple with their mouth. Because if the Australian government has their way, guess what? There'll be no knives in society. We'll have to spread butter on our toast with a piece of stick. That's right, they want us to spread our toast with a piece of stick. Chopped down from trees that aren't allowed to be chopped down. Actually, they might even start to make paper sticks, just like they got rid of plastic straws, and they might start using paper straw sticks for spreading bloody toast. That's right, they might just give you a paper fucking knife, because that's probably the safest option for Australians, because it's proven that Australians are no longer warranted to be carrying a knife anywhere, for anything. Matter of fact, I've got it now. Here's one that I prepared earlier. That's right, there's my knife. Oh, whoops, maybe they might ban those two, because that could cut that way. Or I could open it up and cut that way. Or I could open it up that way and cut that way. That's right, I could also cut anything with that, but as soon as someone starts using this type of knife for something bad in society, I'm sure they'll ban this type of knife too. That's right, you'll need to have a license in Australia very shortly in order to have a knife like this. That's right, it cuts. You should see this thing cut paper. I haven't got any paper to cut, but I'll cut this for you just instead. Look at that. That cuts very good. That's right. They'll ban that too. Absolutely. Anyway, this is Absurd Australia, while these old fart politicians go around in their bullshit leftist ways and try to sell you a new agenda. And that agenda is, we're all going to live in cotton balls. We're all going to live in cotton ball houses. We're going to go to schools with plastic cotton walls made out of paper straws. That's right, that made sense, didn't it? That's right. Yes, that's what they're going to do. They're going to make buildings out of paper straws. Everyone's safe. You drink your drink through it. You can crash into it. It won't hurt yourself. It's just paper. Paper's good for you. But where does paper come from? Oh, whoops, that's right, trees. Unfortunately, wind farms don't create paper. That's right, they sure don't. Anyway, this is just a ridiculous Loose Recluse production, just because I want to muck around with this lens, and no doubt I'm going to be out of focus. I can just tell now, because I can't monitor this, so check it out. There's no manual order. It's only manual focus. There is no autofocus. And I just felt like creating a stupid video for you folks at home. Because I can. Just looking at these stupid bureaucrats, these stupid politicians that want to ban everything under the sun that could cause damage to another person. That's right. Maybe they'll start banning bikes. I no doubt they'll probably ban e-scooters soon, because they don't make enough tax from them. You know what I mean. Valvoline. I'm sure you don't know what I mean. Anyway, I'm out of here. This is another Loose Recluse production. Matter of fact, I've got it now. Thank you!